So guys, everyone already knows that Japan is a beautiful place, and at the same time, mysterious and dark. And of course, sooner or later, I was going to bring something like this to you. So, sit down because today, we are going to talk about the most haunted tunnel in Japan, and discover what some explorers found there. The Inunaki Tunnel is located in Fukuoka Prefecture, Japan. It's important to point out that there are two tunnels, the old Inunaki Tunnel and the new one that was created to replace the old one. Okay, but why was the old one deactivated? During the period the tunnel operated from 1961 to 1975. Many accidents happened there. From what I researched, it wasn't something that far exceeded the average, but it was considerable. Some specialists tried to explain that the dimensions of the tunnel and its darkness didn't help. That's why it was closed in 1975, and a new tunnel was built. Entering the previous one was prohibited. Now, why the government gave the same name to the new tunnel, and why they prohibited entry right away is hard to understand. But here's where things get sinister. Even after the closure, the region continued to be visited, mainly by Osozuka, a kind of rebel biker group in Japan that sometimes performed a few questionable acts. Besides all that, we had a barbaric crime in December 1988. 3 teenagers who committed offenses, stole cars, and bragged about their acts were in the vicinity of the tunnel. After a man named Koichi Umeyama refused to give his car to one of the delinquents under the claim that he had a date, the 3 decided to beat up the young worker. Realizing that he could now report them, the teenagers decided to simply delete him. And I say delete so YouTube doesn't censor this video. First, they tried in a nearby lake, but they thought the floating body might draw attention. So they had the idea to set the body on fire, ending the poor guy's life. The most absurd thing is that these teenagers arrived in the neighboring town bragging about the facts, which was enough for the police to find all the evidence and arrest them. As far as I saw, 2 of the killers are under life imprisonment. The most shocking thing is that the forensic analysis indicated that Koichi inhaled soot before dying, a clear indicator that he was burned alive. Koichi Umeyama was seen as a hard-working and dedicated guy, very well liked by everyone. Sincerely, I hope this guy is resting by God's side. All of this increased the strange aura of the abandoned Inunaki Tunnel, which is heightened by the supposed legend of Inunaki Village, a village that existed nearby since the Edo period, a period in the history of Japan that goes from 1603 to 1868, a period of strong political isolation, sakoku, and cultural flourishing. It was characterized by a rigid social system, urban and artistic development, ukiyo-e, kabuki theater. In 1999, an anonymous person sent a letter to the station Nippon TV with the title, "The Village in Japan That Is Not Part of Japan." In this letter, the author described the existence of an isolated community near the tunnel, and mentioned that at the location, there was a sign saying, "The Constitution of Japan does not apply from this point forward." My God. Besides that, the letter detailed the murder of a young couple in the 70s. The station even investigated the case without apparent conclusions. Rumors run in internet forums at the turn of the millennium that, despite modernization and several villages integrating into society or even disbanding and coming to the cities, Inunaki village remained more isolated, with part of its inhabitants fleeing but another part staying, inhabitants who had customs, let's say, not supported by the Japanese government, like macabre rituals, persecution of outsiders, and cannibalism. Hence the existence of the sign. Some even claim that these sinister inhabitants have the ability to possess animals. This would explain why the animals in the region don't seem to fear humans. The most curious thing is that we have ruins in the region of the supposed Inunaki village. If you search about this community on the internet, you will see that officially the inhabitants were forced to leave the place because it would be flooded due to the construction of the Inunaki Dam, and that therefore, if the village exists, it is underwater. But many superstitious people claim that, actually, the village can still be accessed through the tunnel, but it is only revealed to travelers who intend to visit the place, staying hidden from the rest of the world. Before we definitively get to know this place, I invite you to subscribe and like the channel because these videos take a huge amount of work to make. So with your like and subscription, I can have more strength to make more of this type of content. For you, now let's invade the tunnel. When I was researching this theme, I saw that there were many urban explorers who visited the place. Unfortunately, the videos that comment on the tunnel don't show much about these explorers. So here we are going to do it differently. Let's follow two cases where, yes, some strange things happened, and I will still comment on two other bonuses of Japanese people who visited the place. So, get comfortable, grab something to eat during the trip, because we are going to enter the most haunted tunnel in Japan. Here, we follow Dan from the channel Komoto Japandan. Throughout the video, he tells the stories of the place, including the ones I already mentioned about the village. But one he talks about is a public phone that supposedly rings every 2 a.m. And if you answer, you will hear screams and strange voices probably coming from the village. Another story Dan tells is that the place got the name Inunaki, which means howling dog in Japanese, because of a legend of a resident who had his dog. This dog wouldn't stop barking until its owner, possessed by rage, killed it, only to discover later that actually his dog was trying to alert him of a killer who was coming. A killer who was successful in his mission. The legend says it is still possible to hear the sounds of it barking around there. And it's curious that people report hearing strange noises near the place, like people screaming and unknown animals. Here we see the path to the tunnel, which is quite worn out, with a gate placed for security, something our explorer doesn't obey. It's important to remember that it's prohibited by law for anyone to enter this tunnel, so Dan must be cautious not to be caught by anyone. For some reason we can't identify, Dan gets scared by a bird, as if the animal lunged at him, which matches the reports that animals in that region can be possessed by the old residents of Inunaki village and attack visitors. Although I think he just got a little jump scared. What do you think? Comment. This entrance to the tunnel is totally blocked, which doesn't happen with the other one, which has a very sinister and cool look at the same time. The curious thing is that upon entering, someone had previously placed a piece of wood like a sort of bridge to enter the place, a clue that maybe that place wasn't abandoned. The tunnel itself isn't long. It's quite small, actually, with water constantly dripping, which is strange since it's not raining. During the exploration, Dan finds a fire extinguisher there. What would someone have done there to need an extinguisher? Well, at least for Dan, the exploration was calm, unlike our next colleague.
And go across the mountain. So I'll get back to you once I get there.
Here we have Tin, a very friendly guy who will be our explorer. He also talks about a series of things I mentioned here. What I think is cool is that he did some panoramic filming before entering the site, showing the forest and the path to the tunnel, and its entrance itself. He enters the tunnel and gets excited with the idea. He even gets scared by something that looks like a skull, which was actually just a doll. But what is this doll doing there? He also finds the same fire extinguisher that the other explorer found, And up to there, nothing special. The curious thing is that for a moment, Tin seems to worry about something.
The
Something that we don't see. Anyway, our explorer has the idea of leaving a bottle in the middle of the tunnel, and upon returning, checking if it was in the same place. This happens, which might evidence that there was no one there, although I don't trust this method much. Tin, unlike Dan,
must have known probably.
decides to camp at the location. A crazy idea. But since everyone on this channel, including me, is crazy, we are going to. Tin wakes up a while later, and despite his good mood and adventurous spirit, he confesses that sleeping in places like that would be a terrible idea and decides to leave. Tin got out alive and calm, but his audience noticed many strange things in the video. At a certain point in the video, it's possible to see a shadow or a specter passing through the forest. And remember I said there were reports of strange voices being heard at the site? Well, we have two moments where we hear this. In this one, it's possible to hear a man's voice, who is not Tin. I'll turn up the volume for you to hear.
Especially with the camera.
In this other one, you can hear a little girl's voice. Well, guys, here we have a video recorded apparently by a Japanese explorer, and when he arrives at the tunnel entrance, he sees this. There was someone there. There's no way to know if it's all a prank or if it was real. But all these events in this place make everything stranger. But comment there. What do you think? Video suggestions. And if you can join the members club, I'd appreciate it a lot. That's all for today, guys. See ya.